What if I told you that one man walked into a mountain filled with fire, thunder, and the voice of God, and came down carrying laws that would shape human civilization forever? This is not just a story. This is the moment heaven touched earth today. We dive deep into one of the most powerful narratives ever told, the story of Moses and the Ten Commandments. But we won't just retell it. We'll break it down, explore its meaning, uncover hidden insights, and bring it to life in a way you've never heard before. Stay with me, because this journey will take you from slavery to freedom to divine encounter. Before Moses ever stepped onto Mount Sinai, there was suffering. The Israelites, God's chosen people, were living as slaves in Egypt. Generations had passed since Joseph saved Egypt, and now a new Pharaoh had risen who did not know Joseph. Fear turned into oppression. They were forced into hard labor, burdened and broken. Their cries echoed through the land. But something powerful happened in their suffering. God heard them. God remembered His covenant. And this reveals something important. God does not ignore suffering. He responds, often in ways we don't expect. Then enters Moses, born at a time when Pharaoh ordered all Hebrew baby boys to be killed. Moses' life began in danger. His mother placed him in a basket in the Nile River, a desperate act of faith and in a twist only God could orchestrate. Pharaoh's daughter found him. She took pity on him, and Moses was raised in Pharaoh's palace, educated, powerful, positioned, yet he was Hebrew by birth. But his life took a dramatic turn. One day, he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, and something inside him snapped. He killed the Egyptian, and suddenly, everything changed from prince to fugitive, from palace to desert. 40 years passed, and then everything changed again. One ordinary day in the wilderness, Moses saw something extraordinary, a bush that burned, but was not consumed. He stepped closer, and then God spoke, "Take off your sandals, for the place you are standing is holy ground." And then came the calling, "Go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of Egypt." Moses resisted. He doubted. He questioned, "Who am I?" But God answered with something greater than confidence. "I will be with you." And that changes everything. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Moses returned to Egypt not with weapons, but with authority. He stood before Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." Pharaoh refused, and then the plagues began. Water turned to blood. Frogs covered the land. Gnats, flies, disease, boils, hail fell from the sky. Locusts devoured everything. Darkness covered Egypt, and finally, the death of the firstborn. Each plague was a message. Each one proved that God was greater than anything Egypt trusted in. And at last, Pharaoh broke. "Leave, go, worship your God." Freedom had come. But the story wasn't over. Pharaoh changed his mind. He chased the Israelites with his army, and suddenly they were trapped. The Red Sea in front of them, enemies behind them. Fear took over. But Moses said, "Do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord." Then the impossible happened. The sea was divided. The waters stood like walls, and the people walked through. on dry ground, and when the Egyptians followed, the sea closed. In that moment, everything changed. They were no longer slaves, they were free. But freedom came with challenges. The wilderness tested them. Hunger, thirst, doubt. They complained. They questioned God. Yet God provided manna from heaven, water from a rock. He wasn't just delivering them, He was teaching them to trust. Then they arrived at Mount Sinai and everything changed again. The mountain trembled. Thunder roared, lightning filled the sky, smoke covered the mountain, and God came down. And then God spoke. These were not just rules, they were a covenant, a relationship between God and His people. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make idols. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord. Remember the Sabbath. Honor your father and mother. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not lie. Do not covet. These commandments were not meant to restrict life, but to guide it, to protect it, to define what it truly means to live. But while Moses was on the mountain, something went terribly wrong. The people grew impatient. They turned away. They said, "Make us gods." And they created a golden calf. They worshipped it. They forgot God. And when Moses came down, he saw it, and in that moment, he shattered the tablets, a symbol of a broken covenant. Even after miracles, people can still drift. But the story doesn't end there, because God is merciful. Moses prayed for the people. He asked God to forgive them, and God did. He gave new tablets, a new beginning. Failure was not the end. God restores. And that is why this story still matters today. Because it didn't just shape ancient Israel, it shaped the world. God fixed values. But more than that, it reveals who God is: holy, just, loving, and the commandments reveal something deeper. They are not just about rules, they are about relationship. The first part teaches us how to relate to God. The second, how to relate to others. Together, they show us how to live. The story of Moses and the 10 Commandments is not just history. It is a message, a reminder that God hears, God calls, God delivers, God guides, and even when we fail, God restores. So the next time you think of Mount Sinai, don't just picture thunder and fire. Picture a God who came down, not to destroy, but to connect, and that changes everything. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you think differently, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the greatest stories ever told still speak today.